Okay, guys, today I'll be interviewing my friend Katie Kieffer. She is a highly intuitive, in tune energy healing facilitator, intuitive reader, practitioner, instructor of the Theta healing technique. She assists others in their journey of reclaiming, restoring, and embracing their own sense and truth of self-healing and wholeness with themselves and career. How are you doing, Katie?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for doing the interview today with me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I would like to know what is theta healing technique and how can we incorporate that into our life?
The Theta healing technique is a meditation technique that was founded by Vienna Stibal in the 1990s, and it takes us into a conscious theta brainwave. We can actually hold a conscious theta brainwave, and it connects us to the energy of the all that is. At this point, it's really best known for the belief and feeling work. The belief work is about changing the beliefs, subconscious beliefs, which we can change in our cellular patterns and everything. And the feeling work is about bringing in feelings that we may have never experienced in this lifetime, or maybe we've forgotten them, or maybe they're inaccurate. Sometimes what we view something as it's supposed to be can be twisted based on what we've been exposed to. Love is a great one as an example for that, because we look at, well, what is love? And you look at all of these examples we have, that's not the highest truth of what love actually is or what it feels like. And so when we do the feeling work for that, we connect in with the all that is and get the information from the highest source that is possible for us to connect to. And so that makes a huge difference when we get it from the all that is.
So you're saying that we can like be able to tap in or connect with this power.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's the creative power of everything. We're tapping into the actual energy of creation and co-creating. So when we go there and we connect in and we say, Creator, take care of this, I mean, healings have happened in various ways by just saying, Creator, take care of this. Vienna does it all the time. But she's also practiced a lot longer than the rest of us. There's a lot of us who are, we're good at what we do. We're still on our own journeys too. And we're
Right.
consistently improving. And so I haven't seen something quite the same way that she describes, but I've seen some pretty miraculous stuff happen. And it's really cool.
To get into this theta healing.
How did I get
So,
into it?
yeah.
I got into it because I was really unhappy.
Hmm.
I really was in a place of desperation. My life was awful. From an outsider looking in, probably not, but I felt terrible. My relationships, especially my relationship with my husband, wasn't going real well, though it was mostly me and my perspective. Now, in hindsight, I can see it was really just how I was seeing things more than anything else. He had his role, but he was showing up for me. And I was with my kids. I've got two children who are teenagers now, and we homeschool. And I had a lot on my plate. There's just a whole lot going on, and I felt very alone. I felt like I didn't have a whole lot of support, even though my husband's done a fabulous job of supporting us financially. When it comes to the house and daily care, taking of children, that's not something that is in his forefront. He was never exposed to children before we had ours, so he never got to learn anything about that really. And he's done a fabulous job. But I was really unhappy and felt super overwhelmed. And so I got into energy work, and it wasn't doing what I wanted. I learned about herbs and oils and spell work and lots of different things. Reiki, I was introduced to Reiki and Huna and a few other things that just didn't really resonate with me. And I kept hearing this concept of the subconscious, the subconscious, the subconscious. And I wasn't learning that where I was. I'm like, okay, where am I going to get this information? Well, at the time I had a cleaning business, so I was cleaning houses, and I was also making the cleaners that I used. So I started going to the farmer's market. My teacher stopped by my table and said, you need to be in my class. Talk to me a little bit about theta healing. And there I was in her class. And it was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. That was what I needed. And I had talked about tapping, or I hadn't talked about it. I had been introduced to tapping, and I've been on the Tapping World Summit and lots of things. But it wasn't until I found theta healing that I really understood what I needed, because I needed to clear out the stuff from underneath. And I needed a lot of feeling work. I had a lot of feeling work to do to get to where I am now. And it wasn't just belief work. It was a lot of the feeling work for me that was big.
Okay, I see.
But yeah,
So
it found me.
Like, yeah, okay. I feel like what you're trying to say, that this theta healing technique is actually for you. It was actually meant for you. I'm great that I'm glad that it found you. Or yeah, like you said.
Yeah, it found me. It found me. My teacher found me. Yeah.
In one of your videos that I watched, you talk about muscle testing. Can you tell to the audience or whomever is watching this what is muscle testing and how can we apply it into our life?
Okay, so muscle testing or energy testing, depends. Some people call it energy testing, some people call it muscle testing. It's using the body to determine whether beliefs are held or not. And it is important to understand that we are testing beliefs, not truths. There are people who will muscle test to see, oh, well, does my body need this vitamin? Does my body need that vitamin? And it may or may not be the truth. It's what you believe you need, which might be accurate. Asking creator and tapping into the highest truth is going to help you have better discernment. So really what muscle testing is the idea of the electromagnetic field of our body is going to be stronger when we have a positive answer and weaker when we have a negative answer. So that can be shown like in the finger ring. That's how I usually do it, is a finger ring. And it's so yes will be a nice strong circle. You're not going to break it real easy. I mean, if you push hard enough, you will break it, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for firm, not like strain your muscles. So it's a yes, and then a no is going to come through. And eyes open, eyes closed does matter. Eyes open is your conscious mind. Eyes closed, you're going to get into the subconscious mind and into the body. And it's interesting because we can hold beliefs on many different levels. And so it's like, well, it's a yes here and it's a no there, or it's not really clear. We start testing each level. And the daily application for that really has to do with, what are you believing? What are you feeling? And so you can muscle test. I know what it feels like for the creator to love me unconditionally. You get a yes or a no. If you don't know what that feels like, we can download it. And that makes a huge difference, because what happens is you start seeing it everywhere around you. And it can start with the muscle testing, because we can see what's there that might be limiting, what needs to come in. It's just any variety of things. And when it's done, when we're in sessions and we start doing muscle testing, it is all very intuitive. Usually the muscle tests that I have clients test are not things they would have thought, are not things that they thought of on their own.
You also talk about, when you said download, what do you mean by download?
A download, there's well, if you think of the brain as kind of like a computer, well, you download programs into your computer. Well, we can do that energetically with our brain and our body and our energy. It's the same thing, same concept is at play. So the idea of, some people will experience download as an idea dropping in. Well, creator may have done that. Your angels, your guides may have done that. Something may have had that thought come across your mind that you're like, oh, well, I never thought of that before. So that is a form of a download. So when we do it deliberately, we connect in with the all that is, and we just ask creator to take care of it, and for creator to do it and download it. And then we just witness it happening. We ask for the change and we watch it happen intuitively. And so this can be done in person, over the phone, via video. I do most of my sessions by video. If video isn't working, we can absolutely just do the audio on it or whatever, depending on where we are in the world. So you don't have to be face-to-face with them or with any practitioner. Some practitioners, other practitioners may do things differently. Some may only see people in person. But the downloads are very much, we go in and we ask Creator to take care of it, and we watch it happen.
So it's almost like, it's almost like energy transference, right?
Yes. That's actually a great term to put to it, is energy transference. Absolutely. But it's not transferring energy from me to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's me going to Creator and saying, Creator, will you do this? And Creator takes care of it, and then I'm just the witness. I watch it happen.
And when I listened to a couple of your, I think actually no, it was when I had a free session with you, right? It was a while back. I think it was 2 years ago or something like that. And you had
it's been a while.
You talk about the law of attraction, but most of the audience today are into the mainstream, right? But I like your law of attraction. It's very different and unique, and I would like you to explain to the audience what's your different version of the law of attraction is.
Okay, well, it's really not a different version of the law of attraction. The law of attraction is what it is. It is a different perspective. And so my perspective is that 80 to 90% of our attraction points are subconscious. So releasing limiting beliefs and bringing in the supporting ones and downloading the feelings from the all that is are really keys to effectively attracting what we want. I mean, the idea of, and I've experienced this for myself, well, what does that feel like? I would feel into what it is. Well, if I don't know what I'm feeling if I don't know what it feels like, how can I attract it to me? I'm going to go through a whole lot of trial and error. I prefer to just download it and say, Creator, show me what this looks like. And then I get to practice it rather than figuring out what it is. And so that is one of the aspects that I view things a little differently, because it's subconscious. And, the other thing that's really important is that the law of attraction is not a standalone law. It is under the law of vibration, and it also works with the law of illusion. And so one of the big factors with the law of vibration is that we have this thing called vibrational elasticity. So what happens is, if you've got the idea and the concept of poverty on this end. Okay, so if you look at it like a rubber band, so you've got poverty on this end, and you've got making your bills with just a little bit left over at this end. This is your vibrational range. Well, 6- and 7-figure business, depending on where you live, a 6- and 7-figure business isn't in that vibrational range. So for you to all of a sudden be making 6 and 7 figures is probably not going to happen. And if it does, and you aren't raising that bottom piece up, if you're not taking it from here and moving the whole range up, what happens is you'll get snapped back, and that snapback hurts. I mean, it does. It really hurts. This is why it's the idea of the roller coaster ride happens. And it's that vibrational elasticity. So it's really important to pay attention to where are you actually at with your vibrational range, and just continue moving that up. Going for a 6- and 7-figure business, going for the love of your life from a place of not even understanding what love is, it is absolutely possible. And we should strive for that. We should strive for whatever it is that we want. But recognizing where we are in the vibrational range will help us to understand, okay, so how do we take that lower point using, income? How do we go from struggling to pay our bills to having an excess of, $1,000 each month? How do we raise that baseline? And that's where belief and feeling work can be really effective and helpful. Go ahead.
So, understand that you say about the vib. What about you said there's also a law of illusion. What is that? I never heard that before.
The law of illusion. I know of it. I do not have a firm grasp or full understanding of it. So one of the things that I've been reading about with the laws and the planes of existence, which the seven planes of existence is another book from the Theta Healing creator, or founder, I should say. She's the founder of Theta Healing. And there's a lot of information there, but she doesn't necessarily spell everything out. And so I'm doing a lot of work on my own going, okay, what's this? And it's not been real clear yet. But the law of illusion, I know, has to do with the idea if we are living in a holographic world, essentially, if everything that's physical is just an illusion, well, then if we have a mastery or an understanding of the law of illusion, we can change things instantly.
That's going to take time.
So maybe. Maybe. Well, you know, I've heard of people who can pull things together into the physical realm in a few minutes' time right in front of them.
Quick like that.
Yes, I have heard of it. I have not experienced it myself. So clearly I do not have a good understanding of the law of illusion, but I know that it plays a role. And it's really interesting, and how I have really understood this is because when we're using the law of attraction, we are looking to change what's in this illusion of our physical world. So there's a connection there. The blocks to the law of attraction are the same. So if we're dealing with anger or arrogance, doubt, fear, hate, resentment, lack of understanding, or desperation, it's really going to slow us down. It doesn't mean that we won't manifest anything, but it won't be what we want. It won't be in the highest and best way, or we'll have that vibrational snapback.
Okay.
And so, you know, I've watched a lot of people and have done it myself, trying to manifest something from a place of desperation, and it sucks. You might make a little headway, but it is not sustainable.
Well, speaking of manifestation, can you talk about, because I want to be able to at least get the story out that the law of attraction does work. In the realm of manifestation, what are your manifestation or the story have you tried to manifest, or using the law of attraction to manifest the thing that you want, or whatever it may be?
Okay. Well, the law of attraction is out at work all the time. And let me tell you, I have manifested a whole lot of stuff I really didn't want. I knew that was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Well, yeah, because that's where my point of attraction was. And so it's that was the big thing. For me, I think I tend to experience a little differently from how I've heard others experience it for manifesting things. Like, we knew we wanted another car, because the car we had, we were getting to where the clutch was going to need replaced, and my husband didn't want to have to deal with that. And so we just kind of started looking at other cars, and I'm like, okay, so let's check this out, and let's go. We had a Pontiac Vibe, stick shift. Love my stick shifts. And we started looking at other, you know, similar kinds of cars, kind of to upgrade. We found Hyundai Elantra, and I like hatchbacks. I don't know, I like sporty cars. And so we're looking at, he's sending me all these things. He's putting it in Auto Trader. And I'm like, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. And, oh, that one's an automatic. No, I don't like that one. And then one came across it showed up in Auto Trader one day. It was red. Our cars tend to be blue or red. We just tend to for those colors. We've had others, but those are dominant. We went over to CarMax to look at it, and we had no intention of buying it. We were just going to go check it out, because I'd never been in an Elantra. We've never experienced this car before. And I got there, and I got near her. I got near my car, and she goes, and I knew we were going to go home with her. It was weird. And so that's how manifesting actually tends to happen for me a lot. It's like once I get into this range of it, I'm like, I just know it is. And so the idea of me setting it forth doesn't seem to work for me the same way as it works for others. Unless that's working for them too, and I'm just misunderstanding how they experience it, because, you know, we can only share our stories and experiences. I'm not experiencing it the same way. But, you know, as far as manifesting goes, things just show up. Now, I'm waiting for a refrigerator to show up. We really could use a new refrigerator. Right now it's kind of freezing half of the stuff in there.
This is the best interview ever. But crap. No, I'm off. Okay. I'm sorry. I just lost. I know this is so. Okay. I was still. Wait. When things. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When things show up, I do want to know. Is it? Do you believe it that it's going to happen, or like we could call it? Do you use your intuition, or how does it like work for you? Like, what do you see? How you feel? Like,
Okay. So my dominant intuition, I've got two that are highly dominant, which is clairsentience, which is clear feeling, and claircognizance, which is clear knowing. And then a little, it's gaining strength is clairaudience. And for me, the clairaudience is you hear the messages. Well, I hear it just in my head rather than like somebody speaking to me. But I've had to learn to differentiate the difference between my thoughts and what's intuitive knowledge coming in. So for me, there's just this clear knowing, this clear feeling for me. It's like with the car, which is a perfect example. I just knew we were going home with her. And I tend to personify everything. So, well, if everything has its own energy imprint and it has an active energy, well, they have a consciousness too. So I tend to personify them. So, and it's really interesting because, and it works. I've always had this. It's always just worked for me. I just knew when things were going to happen, good and bad. I just knew and had that feeling, which is where the feeling work was so important for me, because I had been in such dense energies for so long. I had to learn what the light ones felt like. I had to learn what it would feel like for something I really wanted to show up for me with grace and ease without having to work, you know, super hard for it. Doesn't mean there's no effort. I still have to put effort in, but it's easy and it's fun. And so, did I answer your question? I feel like I missed something.
I mean, well, you did. You answer how I was gonna say. Did you believe it? That's what I think I was.
Oh, believe it.
Because you did answer the part where you say that you know that it was gonna happen, whether it's good or bad. But yeah, the belief part.
Okay, so when I have the knowing, there's no question of belief. It just is.
Okay.
And when it's something that's like, I'm not so sure I want this, that's when I definitely tune in and go, all right, creator, show me what this is and how to make this better. If it's something that, you know, if it's like a rough patch I'm needing to go through for growth or whatever, then it's like, you know, how can I avoid this? Or what can I do to make it better? And so when it comes to belief, I have talked to several people who are like, oh, well, I don't believe that. Or, yeah, I believe that. Well, that's their conscious mind at work. They know what they believe consciously. There are a lot of people in this world who think they're not prejudiced. But I bet if you check genetic level, they are. And it's just passed on. It's not something that they want. It's not even theirs. They didn't choose it per se. But that belief is still held in the subconscious mind, and a lot of things get passed down from the ancestors. There's a lot of things that come from, you know, all the experiences our soul has had. So it's not just what we think and feel that we know. We don't know what we don't know. There is a whole vast essence of things we don't know, and I have no idea what's in there. So so how I look at it, I go play with it. What's coming up? What is it that I don't know that's being revealed to me? So then I do know. To me, it's something I get to play with when it comes to belief, because I don't know what I don't know. And for me, and I know for a lot of people, if we don't have a really intact families, it can be hard to figure out what genetic patterns might be existing in our subconscious, because my dad doesn't know his dad's side of the family, so we have no idea what's over there. I have no idea what kind of people they are, what they think, how they feel, what they believe, what the experiences are. So there's a whole realm of things there that I don't know what's in my genetics. So the only thing I can do is go by what's coming up for me. Well, why am I having this kind of a thought loop? Okay, so I'm working really hard. I've cleared all this stuff around this. Okay, I should be getting it, and I'm not getting it. Why not? And this is where even seasoned and experienced theta healing practitioners, they get help too. I mean, we have a whole group for doing session swaps. So it's practice for people who are new and more seasoned, but it's also to help us be able to do our own work. Does this make sense? Does that answer the question well?
Yeah, yes. Well, you also talk about the subconscious a lot, but there's also has been issues like a lot of even if they go to school, they have a lot of self-doubt, a lot of like ideas that's locked inside the subconscious. Even if you when you talk about the I think I'm getting it wrong where you talk about almost like the what's it called? I think I'm getting it wrong. Carl Jung talking about the collective what was it? Collective unconscious, is that it?
Oh, collective unconscious?
Yeah. I could be getting that wrong. But anyway, what is the subconscious to you?
The subconscious is everything we don't know. I mean, conscious is the thought. It's the things we're aware of. It's the things that we do know. Well, the subconscious is everything outside of that. And we have personal, individual subconscious, and you're right, there is a collective subconscious as well. And right now, there really is a whole lot of mass consciousness stuff that's changing and moving, and it's essentially getting cleared out. There's a whole lot that is getting cleared out. But the subconscious is the idea of I don't know what I don't know. And the heater kicks on and it gives that little noise of a pop. Is my nervous system triggered? And I dealt with that for a long time. I mean, we've got little oil heaters as a supplement in each of our bedrooms. And when I hear that click on and it's really quiet, I get a shot of adrenaline, which is not conducive for sleep. And it's like, okay, well, why is that? Well, that's part of the subconscious programming. And because it's the nervous system that's triggered for that particular example, then I'm dealing with the reptilian brain, the survival part. Well, most of my childhood was spent in survival mode. My early adulthood, I was in survival mode. And so my nervous system had no idea what it was to really be able to rest and relax and know everything's okay. And so I had to do a lot of work around that. And so that was something that you're experiencing something that you have no explanation for. The reason why is in the subconscious. If it was conscious, then you wouldn't wonder why this happens.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I just want to get this clear because you know of the rise of this spiritual awakening, because I remember I talked to you about it. and there was a shift that was going on. The whole 2012, and people say it was the end of the world, but it wasn't. And you told me that it was a rise of consciousness. Can you explain that to us?
Oh, the rise of consciousness?
During the 2012.
Okay. That's something that it's like I know something happened, but I'm not really clear on what. And as time moves on, we're still in a process of a shift. So there was something I know that happened with the earth. The earth started waking people up. So it would be like one day people would wake up and go, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? I'm going to work. I'm coming home. I'm turning on the news. I'm doing nothing with my life. There's more here. Well, that is one of having a little bit of an awakening, of going, there's more to life than what I'm doing. And they set off learning whatever it is that they need to learn. For as long as I know of, there have always been people coming in who are intuitive. There are always people who have been here to help guide the way. And most often they weren't really listened to well, or their message would get twisted. But in 2012, there was something with the earth itself that started activating people and for their awakening. And, how the varying experiences of that were, I don't know. My journey started before then. My healing journey actually started in 2007. And it was 2010 that I discovered energy work. And then it was in 2012 that my first Theta healing class was in 2012.
Okay. No, because like
that was the first class I took was in 2012.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, because when I listen to your talk, it's all about healing for you, and that's like it's about healing yourself and sense of self. Like,
yeah.
So, are we? Because so many of us are broken and like we have lost our sense of self worth. Because people tell you who to be, society tell you what to be and who you being. Look, but that's just.
Oh yeah, we're bombarded with should. The idea of should. You should do this. You should be that. You should. No, the only thing you should do is be who you are to the best of your ability, and that's it. But if we don't know who we are, then how can we be who we are if we don't know who we are?
Now you just make me. I don't know who am I anymore. When you said that, I was like, oh no. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, how do we actually heal ourselves when we talk about when you're in the Theta healing? How can we heal ourselves, that part of ourselves?
Well, there's a lot of integration that happens. So for instance, we can do soul fragment retrieval. And now you might not be ready to get all of your soul fragments back at one time. It might be too much to integrate. But when you do a soul fragment retrieval, you have more of a sense of wholeness. And pieces of you that you forgot who you were return. So the healing that can happen with Theta healing, Vienna actually, one of the things that really got her started on this was that she had an instantaneous healing of a tumor in her leg. And so that is like her cornerstone story of how Theta healing got started. She had been having these experiences by going up and talking to Creator and asking Creator to do things for people. She was having great success with other people, and then she did it for herself and had an instantaneous healing on the physical level. And she had done that with others too. Now, for me, mine was emotional. My emotional body was really damaged. And so for me, the healing has been about knowing how to be loved, knowing how to love others properly, allowing myself to accept and receive help. You know, especially with women today, we've got so many women trying to be these superheroes. They're a superwoman. They can do it all. They don't need a man, but they want a man. Well, that's kind of contradictory. It's not that you need one, but how can we develop this partnership to where when he says, hey, honey, what can I do for you? You tell him and he will do it, instead of the way we've done it for so long going, no, I got it. No, I got it. No, I got it. And then we're overwhelmed and then we become crazy people. I know I've been there, done that. I've been the crazy one because I said, no, 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 I don't need help. I don't need help. I don't need help. Well, that was because I didn't know how to allow help to come in. And so clearing the beliefs, clearing the trauma was a big thing. So we can clear trauma in the energetic sense. Okay, it probably goes much more than that, but because we're talking about, you know, we ask Creator to do this, Creator's going to do it wherever it gets done. So trauma clearing can be really helpful, clearing out old patterns. All of that is conducive to healing on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical levels because they're all connected. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Well, to the whole like, well, I think also school has to do with it too, because school didn't properly teach. Yeah, because I have a couple of friends that, you know, people don't know how to communicate with each other. They don't understand people at school, because you know I was a special education kid, and they didn't teach you the stuff that you need, like the basic, like important, like understanding people, how to communicate and ask for what you want, you know, and the, you know, yeah. So they have all the, right now they have self-doubt. They don't know what to do because I talk to them, you know. So
yeah, it really, you're right. There's a whole lot that comes out of the schools. I homeschool. I pulled my kids out of the public school. And, you know, bullying was an issue, and I was getting political answers from the principal, and they're, you know, my son he was in 5th grade, and he had a hard time. He did really poorly on a benchmark test. And I said, well, I'd like to see the test then, because, you know, is he having a problem with the content and the knowledge, or is he having a problem with how it's worded, the language of it? Oh, we can't do that. We don't know how to do that. Or, you know, we don't even know what the tests are. So there's been a whole lot of reasons I've pulled my kids out. And since then, I have really, really come to understand more about our modern education system. For some, there are people who will thrive in it. Absolutely. A lot of us won't. And with this, I've heard it put very recently, and for the life of me, I don't remember where, but they were talking about, with as fast as the world is changing, having rote memory isn't effective anyway. We need to learn how to learn. And that's what my kids are doing now. They're learning how to learn. They're learning how to get the information they need when they need it. They don't talk about how to interact with people. There is no emotional development that happens in a healthy way in this school. If anything, it's not a healthy experience for most people. And actually, I shouldn't say most, but for a lot of kids, it's really not a healthy experience. And even though there's a lot of these schools that say there's a zero tolerance for bullying, the truth is they let it slide. And in part because they can't do anything. Their hands are tied. It's much bigger than just each teacher and each school. It's really a system-wide problem. And it would be great. What if we did have public schools who are teaching kids how to grow their own food, how to interact with each other in a way that's effective and kind? I mean, really, one of the biggest things I've seen recently is, let's stop talking about the bullying. Let's stop talking about that it is and what not to do. Let's start teaching kids what to do. You know, there's somebody that I know who is actually a distant relative of mine, They just started and launched a new business called No Bully Gear, which is fabulous. And I haven't ordered it yet. It's on my list. Kindness is the new cool is a t-shirt that they have. And their goal is to, the No Bully Gear is all about showing kids that they're not alone. So whether it's adults or other kids, they know that there's someone there who can help them and who is willing to step up and do so. That is a huge intelligence of the emotional kind. If we can get more of that into schools, it'll make a really big difference. A really big difference.
Yeah. Thank you so much for making it clear, because I don't want to just be always telling people that's, because I had one lady said, you should go to college, but it wasn't, I did went to college, but that's not how I learned things.
I didn't go to college. You know what? I didn't even graduate high school. And it had nothing to do with my grades. My grades were great. Okay, math, I always struggled in a little bit, but my grades were fantastic. I always had great grades. I was in survival mode. My life took over. And that's just how it works sometimes. Just because somebody is or isn't going to school, that's really not a rating of their intelligence or their ability at all. It really isn't. Unless, of course, you're going to be an engineer or a physicist. I mean, there are things you have to have the education for.
Yeah, like doctors and accountants.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who are emotionally intelligent. They're intelligent in other ways that are really of great service to this world, and we need more of that. We need less focus on the academics as being exclusive. Yes, the academics are absolutely important, and there's a whole lot that's applied to. But we've put so much focus on academics that we've forgotten about the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual intelligence, which are just as important.
And I do agree with you on that. Yeah, I do agree with you that. I mean, so many, I never disregard education. It's just how the whole system are made to do, I never.
Oh yeah.
But
oh, my kids, they still have to do their academics. I mean, my daughter's into photography. She has discovered photography and loves it, so that's a creative thing. My son is into music that sometimes makes me go, oh my God, what are you listening to? But you know what? If he's been working with some other guys in a band and doing different things and creating things, I support that fully. Doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily want to attend every concert, but but I support that very much so. But they still have to do their academics. I've got them both on a business one course. They're on, they have particular courses that they are going through that are required for them to get a diploma.
Are you trying to say they're gonna become business? Already thinking entrepreneur?
Yes.
My God, I wish I know. When I was a kid, I never knew what an entrepreneur is. Oh my God.
You know what the strangest thing is? Okay, I did not know. I was in my 20s. I was in my early 20s, and I was cleaning houses with a lady in this, one of the clients who I knew, we cleaned both his business and his house. He used the word entrepreneur, and I didn't know what it was. And I felt so stupid. And once I figured out what it was, my dad is an entrepreneur. His mother, entrepreneur. Her dad was a coal miner. But his dad only store for a long time that was in Belington, West Virginia. It's in my blood to be an entrepreneur. And not only that, why would I want to be work for somebody else? Sweet. But I would like for them to be able themselves stuck in what was expected or where we were. And I don't want my kids to experience that.
Okay. Uh, do you also talk about the whole? Oh no, you do vision board too. And what's your take on your vision board? And how
On
can the
vision
audience?
boards,
Yeah.
you know, I really don't do vision boards so much anymore
How come?
because I'm changing and growing so fast. And I've noticed that a lot of people are. I'm not alone in this. The process of changing and the what has collectively been called the ascension, all of these shifts and changes that are happening at a really, really rapid rate. And so I'm not really doing vision boards. I do have, I guess, some form of a vision board. So I use my computer screen, and I'm more of a word person than a picture person. I'm very linguistic. So I use a lot of words in mine with pictures. I have both. But, you know, I've seen some people who have vision boards who have no words. Well, they also tend to think in pictures where I tend to think in words. So whatever works. So, you know, I go into PowerPoint, I make my thing and put it as a screensaver, and then it changes. And like the last one I had 7. The one I have now has 3. I have a cork board over my desk that, so like I've got one thing up there that says right to express the energy. It's just something I want to remember. So it's the way I have things set up now, it's ever evolving rather than this is set, this is charged, and it is what it is. No, I put things up and take them down all the time.
So you're saying that we human like it's the we can like it's the evolution. That's I think that most people forget that we
Yeah.
evolve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, having a vision board for the year, it's kind of the same thing as having a manifesting list for the year. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. If it's working for you, use it. I'm finding that I've put on things on vision boards that I get so far into the year and go, yeah, that's not really what I want. Or I want the result of that, not the process of, so how does this happen? And so a lot of this has been learning about myself, how I operate and what I really want. Because the idea of me going out and tending a garden for hours a day, not a fan. And it's not that I don't want to tend the garden. I don't like the bugs. The bugs tend to eat me up. So you know, this is also just part of the learning. So how do I have what I want without having the parts that I really don't want, or at least having it be manageable enough to where I can do what I want and have the results that I want? And so there's a lot of ways to go about that. And we get caught up on the how it happens.
How it happens, but we don't need to know how. But I like it what like you said because I like your version better because you know why? It's it so many of the people get stuck on the like goal setting or vision board, right? You can always change and you can also be flexible. So I like that.
Yeah, it's important to be flexible. Because what happens if you get so far, you thought this goal was this thing, and then you get so far and you're like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. Why keep going for it? No, change it. And that's fine. Change it. And so
Yeah.
what are you going to do when you have all the time and effort that you put into a vision board, and then you're going to go change it? You know, I quit doing vision boards the way I did because I didn't want to sit and put hours worth of work into it and then go, oh, never mind, I need to do another one. I needed a way that was going to allow me to have the evolution happen in real time.
Okay. That makes sense. You're more like about processes and evolution and growth, right? Is it?
Yes. And for me, one of my main ways that I operate, it's not about the outcome. The outcome may be something I really want. But for me, it's about enjoying the process, enjoying the journey from here to there. It's less about the actual outcome. So like when I go and do something, say I clean up this space and rearrange this space in my house, to me, it's not about the outcome. It's about, okay, I'm in this energy. There's all this stuff in this energy. Let's pull all this stuff out of this energy, clean the energy, put back in what we want. And, you know, a lot of times, a lot of effort goes into that. For me, it's an effort to do that kind of thing because I am in the energy of. And usually it's because I let it go for too long. And it gets really cluttered. And so when I go and clean all that clutter out, I'm cleaning all of the energy out. And so the end result wasn't my goal. The process of that was. And then the end goal is a great thing I get. So when, you know, the husband comes home, it's not about what the result is. It's about the effort that I put into it that means something to me.
And I'm hearing what you're saying too. And does it make you happy?
Does it make me happy? Yes. Yes, that is the biggest thing. And this is why I don't do certain things. And when I do things where the process itself doesn't really make me happy, it's because I really want the outcome. It's because it is the outcome. See, well, you know, some people are process oriented, some people are outcome oriented, and then there's some who are kind of not on either extreme. So people who are outcome oriented are going to go, it doesn't matter how I get there as long as I get this outcome. For people who are process oriented, it's like, yeah, that outcome's great, but as long as I go through this process, the outcome can be flexible. I mean, the outcome is inherent anyway, but there's more flexibility with the outcome. So for me, for a long time, I thought I liked to cook. And I used to say all the time, it's, you know, I like to cook because I like to eat. Well, no, I don't enjoy the process of cooking all that much. But by God, I like to have a nice roasted chicken and mashed potatoes. This is the dinner my daughter has been asking for a lot since she got braces on. She wants chicken and mashed potatoes. And that we actually have an allergy to beef. So we eat a lot of chicken in our house. And yeah, I like good food. Not necessarily the process of cooking. Yeah, I watch these cooking shows like he loves to watch MasterChef. So we see that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do all that. I don't need it to be fancy. I just need it to be good on my plate. You know, so the outcome is good food. The process, however I get there, it is what it is. As long as it's good in the end.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, you know, I'm after the outcome, not the process. With most things, especially in my career work, it's about the process.
What does success look like to you?
Success. What does success? You know, you told me you were going to ask me that, and I actually kind of had to think about that. I'm like, I don't know, what does it look like for me? And I came up with, say again?
No, I was going to let you, but go ahead. Yeah, you came up with it, so okay.
Yeah, I did come up with it because, well, and I thank you for asking me because it's important for me to be able to articulate what success is. For me, success really is about happiness and fulfillment. Am I happy in my life? Are my relationships at least improving, if not, you know, in a really good place? You know, am I happy? Do I feel like I'm making a difference in the world? You know, a 6 or 7 figure income isn't going to do that for me. 6 and 7 figure income might be nice, but but then there's a whole process of managing that and you know, how much do I really want to manage? You know, yeah, I would love to build a house that is built specifically for what my family needs, which would not be some 14,000 square foot mansion. Far from. I don't want to keep that kind of space clean. Thank you. But then again, if I could afford that, I could also afford the space and I would clean it, right?
I'm sorry, Brenda, you're okay. I do what like I'm sorry for interrupting, but you're one of the funny person. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I like your personality. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Really, I mean, for me, success is feeling and being fulfilled. Am I doing here what I'm supposed to be doing here? Am I on my soul's path? Am I fulfilling the goals that my soul set forth when I incarnated here? Am I doing what feels good to me? Am I helping other people? And having 6 or 7 figures of an income would be helpful in a lot of ways towards that, but it's not necessary. And so I know there's a lot of people who will be like, I get here and I've made it. And it's like, that's not me. If I'm helping people on an everyday basis, and sometimes I have to figure out, well, what am I doing that's helping people? I don't know. I've had to learn that sometimes just having a conversation is what is needed. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people I don't even know, and they leave and they feel better. Well, now that I can recognize that matters, I can have a sense of fulfillment because I did what I was supposed to do. I did what my soul wanted me to do. I did what part of my divine timing and my divine nature is all about.
Contribution, is it? Like
Contribution would, that would be a good word to put on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would say That's why I would invite you to do the interview because I know that you're a very kind-hearted person. That's why I vibe with resonate with you.
Thank you.
So, and
Thank
you
you.
have you're very welcome. And where can we find you?
You can find me at awakentheinnerlight.com. And that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is through awakentheinnerlight.com. I'm also on Facebook. You can search me there. Most of my posts are public, so I post a lot of things from my personal page. They're public. And I also have a Facebook group called Lightworkers Awakening. And so that's another one. I'm not real you're more active in there than I am. And I thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you are very active in there. It's wonderful. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good way to connect with me. And visiting my website is probably the best way to kind of feel things out of what I do, how I do it. The website itself is also still in evolution and evolving. So there's more that will be coming on it here soon. I have a few blog posts on there. I haven't imported my old blogs because they are not the same energy that I'm in now.
Okay, right.
So yeah, there's
okay.
Yeah. So there's a few blogs there, and more will be coming. Not necessarily on a set schedule, but more will be coming. And I offer what I call a cuppa, basically cup of coffee, cup of tea. We sit down over video or over the phone, however it needs to be, and we just chat for 30 minutes. I mean, if you're interested in what I'm doing and would like to know more, you can set up a cuppa with me, and that's 30 minutes just to chat and to see if we resonate with each other.
And usually, I think I did that one. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Thank you for that. And yeah, for the for the Facebook group, I'm very grateful for that. That's why. So, because I have this one lady that in your group, it kind of make me like, when she, talk about what happened to her son, it kind of like moved me to make like videos to help people. That's the reason why I keep going.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're showing up, and you're showing up in a way that is really cool.
Oh, thank
and
you.
you're helping people. I know you are.
Yeah.
You are helping people probably more than you recognize.
Well, I don't see that. I mean, maybe. Yeah, but I guess I don't give myself much credit. I try not to. I try to be humble.
Well, and that's something that we have a hard time doing, is really allowing ourselves to have the credit. And part of that is because we don't want to be egoistic or egotistical about it. So, a lot of healers and a lot of helpers will downplay themselves when really their impact is quite great.
Right. And that's what I want, or us want to do. But I also want to get one more thing in, because I would like to not only meet, because I do book talk on my channel. I know that you do read books too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what books are you reading now?
Oh, well, I'm rereading my Theta Healing book because there's a class that's coming up that my teacher is doing that, if all things go according to plan, I'll be assisting in, because I'm an instructor, but it's been a while, so I'm looking for a refresher for myself, because I'm certified to instruct. So right now that's the main book I'm reading. But recently I've read Mind Over Money, which was a really good one. Actually, you know what? So me personally, I am a fanatic for audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just opening up my Audible so I can actually see my list, because I have a tendency to blow through them real quick and they go, what did I listen to? So The Soul of Money.
Okay.
The Soul of Money was a really good one. That one's by Lynn Twist. And some of the things she talks about in there are phenomenal, because she's seen, I mean, seriously impoverished people and rubbed elbows with the richest. So she's seen the whole spectrum. And her perspective on it has really helped me to have a different perspective for myself. So that's one I would really, really recommend. And then Mind Over Money by Brad Klontz and Ted Klontz. That was another one that's really good.
Okay, thank you
So
so much.
those are specific to money, of course. But then the other one that I would recommend would be You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza.
I want to interview him actually.
Yeah, I would recommend that one. I mean, and I do. I have like a whole list, and somewhere along the line, I know I posted a list of references of like how I got where I am, and I think I'll be updating that and even adding that onto my website soon. So
Okay,
like there's this whole list of things that I read that helped shape me for where I am.
Okay, thank you so much. But as for audio, because there's people always, kind of bash me for reading, but I told them that you don't have to read books. You can do what you do where you listen to audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then do you listen to audio like repeatedly, or you just like how's your experience with audio?
I do both. I've really taken to audiobooks because of the time, because of my time that I have. I mean, I'm building a business. I'm looking to get my services and what I do out into the world in a bigger and better way. With my kids being home and homeschooling, and then just being able to have a little bit of time just for me to do nothing is really important for me as well, because I need that time to process what's happened for the day. So what I do is I listen to audiobooks, and several audiobooks I've gotten, I'm like, oh, I'm going to need to reference that. So I'll listen to the audiobook, but I also buy the hard copy. So I have both. So I can read it if I want to, I can listen to it if I want to, and I can also flag like just those parts that are really important that I wouldn't want to try digging through an audiobook for. I can just
Right.
open to a page. And so for me, I tend to be, I'm more audio and kinesthetic with learning, but the visual depends on what it is. The visual is really important sometimes too. Because I can read something. I mean, I can read about it and I know it in theory, and that's great. But when I turn around and try to apply it, it sucks. I need somebody to show me and walk me through how to do something.
Hands-on.
Hands-on, kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic, yeah. Yeah. So for me, I'm really flexible. I'm not rigid with my learning because I know that whatever I need to learn this. It's important. This is gonna take me to another level. So.
Yeah. It depends on what it is. It really does. I mean, when it comes to the more philosophical kinds of things, that I don't necessarily need hands-on. Though I did realize that, when it comes to meditations, I do need to be able to hear it. I need somebody to walk me through it so that as they are speaking, I am doing. Rather than reading it and then trying to remember what I read while I'm doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm trying to connect. I was like, okay.
Yeah. With meditations, because if somebody's speaking it to me, I can follow along with the doing.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on today. And that's all we have today, folks. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, Kate.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Johnny. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad that you're here.
All right.